G'day everyone, welcome back to another Fossils and Archaeology speed build video. In this video, I will be making a mixed enclosure of a Dryosaurus and a Stegosaurus. This enclosure is going right next to the Dilophosaurus enclosure that I built in the last video. And the reason why I'm mixing the Dryosaurus with the Stegosaurus for this enclosure is because when I was younger, I saw a documentary where there were Dryosauruses. Is Dryosauruses the plural or is it Dryosauri? I don't know. I'm just going to keep calling them Dryosauruses. The Dryosaurus were alerting the Stegosaurs if there was a predator, and the Stegosaurs would defend the Dryosaurs and they would work together and live in harmony. That's how it was in the documentary. I don't remember when I watched this. I don't remember how old I was, but I just remember it being a thing and I really liked it. So I wanted to do an enclosure with both of them in it. Dryosaurus is also probably my second favorite dinosaur, so I'm really happy to be making an enclosure for it. This enclosure is based off the North America area 150 million years ago. I think that's where it was. I'm not sure. I looked it up before I did this build. And in that area there were these tall trees. I forgot the name of the trees, but I tried to recreate them in this enclosure, and there was a lot of fern coverage all over the ground. So in this enclosure there's a ton of ferns for the Dryosaurus to hide in and the Stegos to eat, and I'm quite a big fan of this enclosure. Even though it didn't take too long to build, I think it's still a cute little enclosure, and it's not as big as I was hoping for it to be. I sort of expected it to feel a bit bigger, but in the end it felt like it was a bit small, but I think that's alright. And you're probably wondering where I've been. There's three main reasons. One of the main ones being I was sick. And while I was sick, I was just lacking creative energy and I just didn't feel like doing anything. It was really hard to get out of bed, and I tried to lock in and get videos done, but it's hard. And I do have another Fossils and Archaeology survival video in the works, and I've been putting a lot of work into making it really well edited, so that's why it's taking a bit, and hopefully I can have it out soon. Another reason why I've been gone is I had a car crash and it was really bad. My car was written off. I might put some photos on screen right now. My car is just completely undrivable and it's really sad, and I'm going to miss that car. But it's the first big car crash I've been in, and it's honestly traumatizing. Like the impact and what I saw as the crash was happening kept replaying in my mind, and oh my gosh, you guys should never be in a car crash. It's honestly the worst, and it's really it really affects you mentally, and yeah. And yeah, I hope I'm never in a car crash again because it's a terrible experience. And now I don't have a car. So when I was doing research for the video, I looked up what the type of environment Stegosaurus and Dryosaurus lived in. And Stegosaurus, they lived in semi-arid environments, and there was undergrowth and forests and a lot of ferns, and there were also horsetail plants in there as well, but the Fossils and Archaeology horsetail plants is a bit too saturated for what I wanted to do for this build, so I didn't include horsetails, but I did include a lot of ferns. I have a question for you guys that I was sort of thinking about while building this, and that question was, do you think you could tame these dinosaurs, or they could be domesticated if they were still around, sort of I don't know, a water buffalo, or I guess something similar to a Dryosaurus could be a emu or something, or a kiwi bird. I guess because they're herbivorous, they don't have that instinct to kill, but they definitely have that instinct to protect. Because if I could, I would definitely have a pet Dryosaurus. I think they're so unbelievably cute. And I'm wondering as well, how would stegosaurs be used in farming and agriculture? The main use for stegosaurs would probably be a source of meat because they're quite big. But would you bring back stegosaurs to life just to have them as a source of food? I don't think that's very fair to them at all. Another idea is that they could be used for eggs, and you could have you know people eat ostrich eggs, people eat duck eggs, people eat chicken eggs. Imagine a Stegosaurus egg for breakfast. I would not be able to finish that. That'd be way too big. But it is interesting to think about. I think maybe a Dryosaurus egg would be more like a chicken egg. I don't know. I'm just yapping at this point. My love for the Dryosaurus started when I started watching the Gaming Beaver play as a Dryosaurus in the Isle. Actually, I don't know if he played it or he was playing as a dinosaur and he made a Dryosaurus friend. I just remember seeing the Dryosaurus and thinking it was the most cutest thing ever, and ever since I've been in love with the Dryosaurus. Do you guys like the Isle? Is that still a relevant subject? Also, in this enclosure, I made some little houses for the Dryosaurus to sleep in. There's not many Stegosaurs or Dryosaurus in this enclosure because it's quite small. As I said, it's smaller than I expected it to be. So I wasn't gonna like cram a bunch of Stegosaurs and Dryosaurs in together, so I only have a few. So there'll only be a few, but I think it's nice to have some little sheltered areas for the Dryosaurs to sleep in when it's raining or something. This speed build segment isn't going to be as long as my other ones just because the enclosure's a lot smaller, but before I end it, I want to talk about one more topic, and that is the happy gas and the player locator bar. I'll talk about the player locator bar first. I think it's great. I think it's cool that the players disappear on the locator bar the further they are away. I also don't think it's replacing the XP bar, because I think you still get XP on the bar. There's just some little icons. I think it's good because I always lose people. Next thing is the happy gas, and happy gas is going to be amazing for building, because like I'm always building in creative. I love building creative, and like when you're building something like a tall structure and you're trying to get under it, it's really hard to get scaffolding to go underneath your building, because you got to go all the way to the ground, or you got to place water, and then you got to like it's a whole mess. But using that gas, it's just like creative mode. Like you're not flying around. Like when you're building in creative, you're never flying around fast. You're just like looking at things, going back and forth. You're not usually flying around very fast. I think it's going to be a game changer, and I'm really excited for the happy gas, and I can't wait to use it on Whimsycraft. And hopefully I can do another Whimsycraft video soon for people who are still interested in that. But yes, that's the end of the speed build. I'm sorry it wasn't that long, but I still hope you enjoyed it. Let's get to the tour. Alright, it's time for the tour, and I'm really excited for this because it's the first time I've ever done a mixed enclosure, and I've done so many different fossils and archaeology enclosures, but I've never thought to put two in one, and this is amazing. Look at these guys. Look how cute the Dryosaurs are. This is why they're my second favorite dinosaur. They're so cute. And yeah, this enclosure has a lot of foliage just absolutely everywhere, which is exactly what I was going for. And this pond is super cute, and I really think the Dryosaurs like this. And the Stegosaurs, which they're having fun over in that corner. And I think the Stegosaurs can fit in the Dryosaur houses if they tried to squeeze in. I also changed this fence to be glass because I felt like that made a bit more sense. I think the best place to view this enclosure is still from up on that viewing area, but this is still pretty good because you can see the Dryosaurs and stuff up close. Like, look at these guys. And yeah, look at this Stego. The new models for the Dryosaurs and Stegos are beautiful. I absolutely love the male Stego. Like, look at this guy. Oh yeah, the Stegos can totally fit inside the little shelter for the Dryosaurs. And look, there is a Dryosaur sleeping in here. That's so cute. Hey man, how's it going? They've got a little food trough here where they can eat out of, and there's some sort of natural paths. This one cuts off, but then cuts back in over here, which I think is nice. Since this was sort of a smaller enclosure, I think in the next video I'm going to tackle a much larger enclosure, but I am really happy with this one. And I tried to use quite a few different fossils and archaeology plants, like this one, which I can't pronounce, this one, which I can't pronounce, and this one I can't pronounce, which has a tool version as well. Maybe one day I'll learn to pronounce them. I just don't feel like embarrassing myself right now. But yeah, they've got some bushes which I used some of the fossils and archaeology tree leaves from. And I tried to make these trees look prehistoric as well. Let me know how you think I did on these. And I love these little lily pads as well. I think these are very cute. You guys are definitely more of an expert on prehistoric flora than I am. I think to keep in mind, this is a prehistoric park in a modern world, so there's a mix of modern plants in the current times and a mix of prehistoric plants as well, like these trees and, you know, all these plants and stuff. I'm gonna flash my members on screen right now, and I'm really grateful for them for supporting me. Even though I've been sick and in car crashes and liking a bit of creative energy, I appreciate you guys for still being here for me. But yes, I'm gonna end the video here. I do hope you enjoyed, and hopefully we have the next Fossils in Archaeology survival video out soon. Anyway, bye bye everyone, take care, see you in the next one.